is all.
Okay, what else? What else?
Now we go on to, I don't think we have any other old business. Now we go on to public participation, which we moved into, gave them 2 places, actually. All right, now.
Okay, and I'm just
Where do we
over
do
here,
this?
so it's just
Okay. And you have.
Yes, but before I submit this, well, actually, you can have it right now.
Okay.
It's just a letter that I wrote with a bunch of questions, but I think I mentioned to everyone that I'm just here to document the entire process. It was very interesting, and thank you so much for tolerating. You know, I know it's kind of difficult when I was on council. Well, the small quarters, but then I was thinking about it last night when I was on council. It's like I'm kind of used to like all of the meetings, being on camera and that kind of thing, being a candidate and scrutinized. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize that this is, I hope it wasn't a bad experience.
It was a little uncomfortable not knowing, because typically we're not recorded. Hopefully I didn't say anything about my private life. My girls would never forgive me.
No, and this is, again, to document the entire process. I kind of mentioned to Roger at the very beginning, and I thought that I mentioned it when I came in the room over there. If I didn't, I apologize
Well, I'm
for
actually
that.
talking about Wednesday and Thursday when she was recording.
And
Okay, well, and you know the Open Meetings Act.
Right,
yeah.
Nobody
And
has to let you know.
With you, I
Right.
felt comfortable, and to be honest with Karen, when I asked if she was taking pictures and she said no, that's what really made me start feeling uncomfortable. You know, if she had come in and said, hey, I'm here and I'm going to sit in on your meeting and I'll be recording and taking pictures, fine, just let me know where you're coming from.
Okay.
And
It was okay.
but
And
nothing
learning
against
lesson-
you though.
learning lesson
Yeah,
for us
nothing
all,
against
because-
you, though.
Right.
I mean,
You can, I
yeah.
know that.
Open Meetings Act,
Right.
you can
do
go
it.
into any
Right.
public
Right.
meeting
Yeah.
and record and take pictures and it's
Typically,
just,
in the past, no one has ever.
but ever been at these meetings, so.
Well, we had a couple people stay in, but they
Yeah,
have
we've
never
had
done
a
that.
couple
Okay.
people said,
Over
but
the
not
years.
recorded.
Yeah. Yeah, but no one has ever recorded or videotaped
Because
this
it's
before.
open, so they can sit.
They can
Yeah.
sit as long as they want.
So I
Is that
just,
your second? Can I?
no, this is my copy with my notes on it.
Oh.
That's the official one that I'm going to submit. But I did have, just for clarification, I did have a couple questions. Because the rules state, and again, this is for the audience, the rules state that both Republican and Democrats work together to ensure the fairness of the process. And because everybody's not wearing name tags, I mean, I know through the process who's the Republican, who the Democrat, but I was just wondering for the record, if and clarification, if you can just state your name and which party you're a dues paying member of.
Again,
represent.
you can respond to her questions, but as a public body, during public participation, you're not required, so just so you know.
And you're
It's
correct.
good to have a
You're
good,
correct,
give and
right.
take, but during public participation of any public body, the body is
correct.
not required to respond.
Okay. Well, and if you don't want to do that now, hopefully later on, just for clarification, you can do that, if you don't want to do it in the meeting. And again, it's just helpful for the audience, the viewing audience, when this does air, just to let them know that the process is fair.
I am Joanne Fairbairn, and I am a Republican.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else want to?
No.
Okay. Well, and just for clarification, Joanne and Janice are the Republican representatives, and Sharon and Melissa are the Democrat representatives here. Okay, then I'll just, if I may, I'll just read the letter, just so everybody knows. So, dear Joanne, Chairwoman of the Macomb County Board of Canvassers, thank you for your graciousness in taking time with me to review and document the verification process with you and your team Monday and Tuesday. It was extremely interesting, and I think the viewing public will find it very enlightening too. I hope it will also convince our state legislature and the voters that we must change the no split ballot process, as well as other changes to maintain the integrity of our elections so that every vote really does count. I would like this letter and my questions below to be included with the board's minutes of, well, I guess August 10th. I wrote this yesterday thinking that that was going to be the end, but so August 10th, 2016, and answered at a later date when you can provide the answers for me and the viewing public. Thank you, and I appreciate it. The first question, when Fraser Precinct 6 AV ballots were recounted, why were the spoiled ballots in the middle of the piles and not kept separately to be counted later? Number 2, when Fraser Precinct 6 AV ballots were recounted, it seemed like 1/4 to about 1/3 of the ballots were spoiled and then overridden to count the nonpartisan and ballot issue votes. So why isn't the entire ballot spoiled? Please provide me with accounts for the number of ballots that were overridden. And being the 3rd largest county, do you have, at the Board of Canvassers, do you have any input as to how the ballots are designed? Number 3, the yes button on the front of the voting machine to override a spoiled ballot. I would like the counts for every precinct as to how many ballots were overridden. How do we know that it doesn't just count the yes votes? I would like a copy of the voter machine instruction manual. And number 4, after the election results are made official, can the ballots be rerun and count all of the votes regardless if they split the ballot or split their vote? And let's set up a date to meet so I can have a team of my people do a manual test of the actual ballots for various precincts. This is due to the large number of ballots that I saw that were overridden, and thus votes for office were not counted. Thank you for your time and attention, and please let me know when a good time for us to meet would be. Thank you. And I will, the videotape that I'm going to be putting together, it's going to be focusing on this, because I found that absolutely fascinating that the number of spoiled.
You're talking about the yes button.
Well, this number of spoiled ballots, and I thought that
The number of spoiled ballots are listed in the book.
They're already listed.
They're already listed. They're in every precinct book.
correct, but
Well, we
it's
can't
not,
give you all
it's
that.
not available to the, it's not available to the, do I have to FOIA it, or I don't know the process? So
Let's
I
FOIA
figure
it.
you'll give me the answers.
You
To
could
these-
do that, yes.
I believe a lot of that has to be, because of the nature of it, a lot of it has to be a public.
Those ballots are,
Document
those
request.
ballots are under security, they can't be released either.
Yeah, but there is.
There's an 18-month retention on those ballots, but they're held under security for a period of time pending any recount.
Yeah, there's certain things we have to follow so that the integrity remains intact.
Correct, and that's why I was also saying, you know, I made mention of when the election results are made official. So, in answer to that, if you can give me the dates of when some of these things are possible.
I think we have to refer that to the elections director, because the majority of that is not under
I
our
was gonna say
jurisdiction.
that. This is,
Yeah.
this one here, they split their vote, no, they can't, that's actually in state law. If they split their vote, because of state law with the primary and the parties, you cannot count that area. You can count the non-party areas, that is in,
And the balance.
Correct, and what
And
I'm
on the
asking
balance,
for
yeah.
is just,
that's in here.
because the alarming number of spoiled ballots that I saw in some of the recounts.
You only saw that in one recount, and that was Fraser.
Well, I saw it in Sterling Heights, I wasn't.
Did they override
Or I'm sorry,
Sterling
who was
Heights?
sitting on this side of the table, was that Macomb Township.
And that was that was Sterling Heights, and they
Okay.
were AVs.
Yes, and they were
The voters
pushing,
do
they were
not-
also pushing the button and pushing the button quite a few times, so,
Yeah, they have to, so that at least they can take the races, which is going to be a question, I believe, for the clerks and their machines. And the manual would be for the clerks. And
That's why I said we need to refer that to the elections director because
yeah, this is,
correct. But
that's
this
not
is,
under our jurisdiction.
you understand that this is the only
Right,
format that
understand.
the public can actually
Yeah.
submit questions at. Cause again,
and we have to
my,
refer, some of these we aren't.
yeah, and I'm not questioning my race at all. The results are the results, and that's also why I said after the election results are made official. Because again, when I saw that, I was really surprised, and I wanna do, I would like to conduct a task after, whenever I'm allowed to look at those ballots before they're destroyed. Cause I wanna do a manual tally, and see if the election, results would change or not, cause I found it absolutely fascinating.
Can somebody request a manual count of the ballots?
A candidate that lost
I
in
don't
the
think
race
you
can
can ask for a
request a
recount.
recount. They can request a recount, yes.
And
I don't know.
good, and, it's a good question,
I
and that's
don't
why I
think
want,
they can
that's
during
why I
that
wanna
process.
pose it.
Yeah, I didn't read anything about that, and I read through this again last night and did some other research. And I saw nothing stating that we as a board have to do it manually.
No, they can request a recount.
And you can't do it, cause you can't touch the ballots.
Even after a certain point before they're destroyed?
Don't think so.
That I don't know,
We,
and that would not be our
when they're being
jurisdiction.
tallied, we can't act.
There might be something long after all the recount deadlines that they,
And that would be fun.
under certain restrictions, they can be viewed.
Because another reason why I would also like to get data about this is because I've always been really irritated with in the primary not being able to split your vote. And so that's why I also wanna get the data, to get some data to say, hey, legislature, we need to change this. Other states don't have what we have here,
Some
and
states
here's
have
some data.
Closed primaries that require you to register a party affiliation in order to vote in a primary.
And we did do
So-
that for the presidential too, I mean, but some states don't even, they allow you to free vote. And, or like the independent parties, they pick their candidates at convention instead of going through the primary
So
process.
I have to do some research on those questions, right?
Yeah, I'll turn that document over to.
And again, I just
the
wanted
board's
to tell you
attorney
more
to
about my
address
motive
those.
behind it.
That's good.
I don't like the split ballot issue,
Well, again,
and I
those-
wanna get some evidence to
Yeah, I wish
change
that was
that
under our-
policy.
And those are,
Well, and again,
those
Roger
are
was out of the room.
legislative issues.
Yeah, and
Okay.
Roger was out of the room, but this was the only opportunity, me as a citizen, that I could actually present these questions to the canvasser body, the election process body.
So our attorney will answer those.
Yeah, well, I'll just gonna refer these to the corporate counsel to see. Joanne.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, your duty is ministerial. You make sure the paperwork is properly completed.
Right.
This is
yeah, it's,
way beyond your purview.
truly.
And again, it's my
We
only
are very
opportunity to
limited.
present the questions and get it on record.
That's fine.
And that kind of, like, when you were talking about the different recounts that are happening, that was kind of interesting too, when there was only a 7-person vote and those how many spoiled ballots, and it's like, hopefully those smaller communities don't have AV voters and it's just at the polls, hopefully.
I think all communities have AV voters.
Some didn't.
AV counting boards, few of the smaller communities count them in
Count them in
precinct.
the
Is that what you're referring
They
to? The
count
separate
Yeah, I
AV
thought,
counting board?
I saw
But they
a
all
list
have
of
AV
them.
ballots.
Yeah, they all have AV ballots, but they count
okay.
them in the
Oh,
precinct.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
They have to have
A lot of these don't, yeah, we are purely a ministerial and clerical. This is, a lot of this stuff is fully out of our scope. In fact, actually, a little
But it's been
over.
presented to us, so we can, direct it to the
Yes.
appropriate.
And then approximately, when could I expect, some answers or dates or something? Like a month, a week?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna refer this letter to the board's attorney, to the court counsel, so I
Okay.
can't answer that question.
Right, so I'll be following up weekly then with you directing project? Yes?
You could do that, sure,
Okay,
sure.
all right. I think that was it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
No,
Uh,
yeah,
Okay. Joanne?
Huh?
I don't,
would like to say.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. No, that was,
Hello, my name is Kim Spranger. This is probably my second time visiting the Board of Canvassers. And I did, feel you guys did an adequate and good job. As I come back the second time this year, there are some observations I'm really was paying more attention to. And that's more of how you conduct the paperwork and the processing. In the beginning, I did miss the adoption of the agenda, so you could have introduced yourself at that time in your affiliation and being affiliated with being a Democrat or Republican. So I give you the benefit of the doubt that you could have done that. I walked in during the segment of participation and I made some comments and I sat down. I'm glad you gave an opportunity to do a second participation because as an observer, seeing the process, now I have an opportunity to make comments on the procedure. And in the procedure, I know the state statutes and there's requirements, and Canvas Board has a PDF file and it's very explicit on the duties and responsibilities, and I see that you take them very seriously. And it is tedious work, and I understand how this room confines us all together. It's not able to get in and get out successfully without bumping into each other or making it. So I hope by next year, when you guys meet again with a coming election, you will
I'm
have
hoping
better
they put mine
borders
over.
and the facilities are more accommodating. Yeah. As I observed the agenda, there's no identification that you guys are listed on the agenda as the member of the board. It just affiliates the clerk's office, and your names are not appearing on it. Okay, so that's a recommendation I would make, because all public bodies will have a board member listed. And then there's,
not all public bodies, I know my committee does not.
okay, but this is a public board meeting
It's
for
a-
an election.
And it's a public one too.
It's just a consideration, I'm just
But that is
asking, you know.
Duly noted.
This is a new document this year called the checkoff list. I don't know who the writer
The
or,
state
okay,
elections department.
I called the state and they could not verify this,
Tom Lucci,
okay? Because usually when it's a state form, the guy told me
Tom
this.
Lucci, state elections department.
Okay, apparently there's no ID number on the form. Okay, I like it, I think it's
We do too.
very excellent.
We were given it at our
It-
training.
Okay, it follows the order that made more sense this time when I came in, and to understand which tally sheets you were looking at, and the receipt of that document came from this area, like the AV area, and then the machines of the voting machine. And then it was still a little confusing, but this time I'm understanding how the poll book works. And I have never actually got to view the poll books after you guys make the red marks. Now, the
Did you
state,
take, this is where I need to interrupt you and you. Did you take any pictures of the poll book names?
I just took pictures Oh, when you were flipping it, I can check to see if they.
I'd like a copy of the pictures you took and the videotape, due to the fact that that is, can only be requested, it has to go, it falls under, any pictures of that, of the poll book itself, fall under the public document request.
Privacy too.
No, they fall under the, you have to request it as a public document, that form. They cannot be, and I really looked into that, because that made me nervous. Alright?
We could work together on this, because there's a procedure.
That's-
I think the state person that I talked to.
Or possibly get, if you want to,
Explained that
to the,
there's
our
a process of
council,
when I can look at them. He didn't know when.
the pictures and the videotape, only because in my research, the poll book names, the poll books, have to be requested through the public document request stuff. I'm not really wording it right, but there is a form they have to fill out and that has to be requested. So I would like to send, actually, the pictures probably and videotape should go to corporate council, because I don't want
Well,
to do something
I've got a
wrong.
clarification though, because we can request voter lists, and it
There's-
has the
that's
same
it's-
information as the poll book, correct?
No, it's different.
Okay,
The
and,
poll books are different than just the listing of the QBF. That's what you're asking about. It is different. Actually, I think I want you to send it to corporate counsel and let him look at the photos and the videotape, just because I
I'd
don't
like
wanna
to
do
turn it
anything-
around, if you could,
I don't wanna do anything.
because I don't
illegal.
know, throughout this whole process, I don't know what I was looking at, what anything.
Right, and we
So
need to
can you show
ensure-
me, just show me right now an example of what
I
a
can show you
poll
right
book
here,
is?
without pulling one out. This is a poll book. Let me get to the documents involved. But it makes me nervous and I would really hate to do something illegal. So, this would be our poll book.
That was the color poll with blue and red on the
That,
front of
yeah,
it.
that was the blue, red, sometimes yellow. And it has a list of names. This has to be requested. A copy of this has to be requested through the channels.
Okay, so I can clear all of this up. I'll make a formal request for that, and then
Okay,
we're done.
that is fine. That is fine,
Yeah,
I'm just saying
just,
that.
if there's a form that so
would
I
not
just
know which-
request
there's
the
a form.
poll book,
There is a
and then
form
that's all
somewhere.
cleared out.
Well,
I know you have to follow a paper trail
Yeah,
and
there
legalities
is a
and
form
that.
somewhere, I'm not sure, the numbers were on there and I didn't write it down. There's a form.
Roger, do you know which form that is? Or can you
I have
provide
no
one
idea
for
what
me?
you're talking about.
There is,
What
If
is it?
somebody wants a list of people that voted at a precinct, a copy of a poll book, they have to FOIA it.
An actual physical copy of the
If some-
names
yeah.
in that poll book?
Yeah.
it
Well-
has to go under public document requests.
I'll formally
It's been
request it.
so long since we've had anyone request those names. Since the qualified voter file came on, people just request the voter file. I'm
No.
sorry, what?
Isn't there a privacy issue with that?
No.
Not if they request it the right way.
And I wanna find out the right way, and we'll both request.
Right, that's it's a.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
understand it's just making it all
Yeah,
legal
I-
and,
Yeah,
Yeah, well, these are gonna be under security for a while, so send that one to court counsel as well.
that's why.
I mean, you could request a voter list, it'll contain the same information that's in there, everything's uploaded from the electronic poll books into the qualified voter file. But if you wanna look at these are just paper reports of the names, I mean, you can do that as well. Cause this is gonna be a
No, I
paper
think you
count,
walked-
you want a paper?
you walked out of the
Photo
room
copy.
when we were talking about it, I think. When we were, taking pictures and videotaping. I don't think that I got any of the poll books, but just in case I did,
Oh.
I wanna make the formal request.
That's where I'm coming from.
Oh.
They have to be, yeah, that would be
Yeah.
nice, thank you.
Yeah,
Because I
I'll do
wanna
it that
make
way.
sure that that's all done that way properly.
I see.
Yep, you see where I'm headed with that.
Sort of.
You know what, I'll submit something, if it's
Yeah.
not proper, then you let me know.
Submit it, and we'll go on, but,
Yeah.
yeah, that,
Copy would be submitted in a.
There's
book.
nothing in there that's exempt
well, it
from
did say that
FOIA.
the
There are no birth dates in there, there are
No,
no
but
full
it did
birth dates,
say
there are
in
no
all the-
driver's license numbers.
in the reading
So
that the
there's-
poll books, because they're under lock and key, and they're supposed to be kept locked up. I was reading extensively, and
Yeah,
it did say that you need to, that was the one thing. It just made me nervous, I didn't wanna, you know.
Well, the second position I'm in, I am a candidate.
Yes.
I am running for office. So there are privileges if, in that perspective, as far as the recount goes, as far as examining the public records. When I call the state, and I'll get that clarified, and maybe I'll have them email you some procedures on how I can do things as a candidate, so that the ability to actually see what you guys have been doing, because you took the red pen and you've been using that pen consistently. Some of the documents, I had no idea what you were verifying or even certifying. That's just a perspective for me, just being here and observing. There was no walkthrough telling me, you know, this is a poll book, which you could do anything you want. This is your meeting, this is how you conduct your meeting. So from my perspective, if they're in the pictures and if there's a problem legally, I will not do anything illegal, so you can arrest to that. I think we can come to a very balanced and reasonable solution, and if there is an issue, it can be resolved, because these pictures, you know, are something under the Open Meetings Act, since it's a public body that needs to make decisions. Some of the decisions were not clear in my mind, just what was going on. You talked among yourselves.
It's,
And it's just the way I perceived it. It's not good or bad, it's just those were decisions. Motions are made for a purpose where you state the motion and then the decision is recorded, yea or nay. That's just basics.
Are we,
But
the
I'm not-
obligation to train a candidate, how
No.
I didn't think so.
We're here to
No.
do our job.
You do.
We
your
are
job.
here to do our job.
No.
I did refer you to where to find this. We are directed, unnecessary delays in the canvas must be avoided. Teaching a candidate all about what we're doing and taking the time to train you is an unnecessary delay. I did refer you to our manual, so that
You did refer it, I had to look online and I
I
called the state.
did refer to her at least, I did refer somebody to the fact we had.
I
it
just
in
wanted to set that straight.
Alright, after a while, with different people asking questions at different points,
Yes.
Long days.
Because
it
when
gets
I,
confusing.
when I asked, why were you taking the pictures and recording, and you said you were using it for your own purpose?
That's right.
To train people.
No, I said not to train people, I said it's gonna be a tutorial, okay?
Tutorial.
A tutorial, and it all depended if, people who fill out an application, let's say, I fill out an application, the clerk's office will have me go through a training, because I'm new, I don't know what to expect. So they give you a little training. So in the tutorial from a citizen's point of view, this is just teaching them what goes on at the meeting, what you're doing, okay? That's it.
Okay.
So it's
So-
real
and-
simple. And if
yeah.
you read the Open Meetings Act, because I did ask you if you read it,
And it is really
I
simple.
don't have to defend my position why I can record or even take pictures, because that is allowed.
And you're
And-
absolutely
Correct.
right, but with me asking what were you going to do with it?
Okay, so I
And I
explained it
think
was
I
an
had the right to
educational
ask that
purpose. Yes, and it was an
I think
educational
this issue will
purpose.
become
And
moot
it's,
when we
it's
have a
just,
larger facility
you
with
know, it's just, you know, a
clearly
process, it's a
delineated
process.
public.
Right.
And I understand, you know,
This was
your due
too,
diligence to
much too tight.
do the certification the way the guidelines say.
Right, yeah, we don't.
You don't have to
you
give
know.
an explanation of what
No,
you're
you
using
didn't
it
have to, and
for.
that's fine. The thing is, we didn't go through it because we are not required to.
Right.
And again, I think we keep going back to the proximity issue. This room is so small. If it were not so small, I don't know that we would be having this
Well, it would eliminate a lot of confusion sometimes, because the last year when I asked some questions, you know, you walked me through it again, and you explained certain things. And then I went to our city, and they actually showed me a poll book.
Right.
So I got to see what the cover looked like, and I got to see
And that
some
was
of
an
the things.
unused one, right?
Yeah, it was an unused one.
Yeah.
And I got to see what the poll book looked like, so I could recognize the poll book.
Right.
And understand that process. It's just that when somebody comes to observe, it's just that we don't know technically, but again, that's your position, you
our
don't have to
poll books-
explain nothing to us.
We're
It's
not
just,
here to train.
it's just the results can be published, the way you vote on matters can be published, and I will go and check the minutes and read them, and what I have recorded is what's recorded.
You know, when I spoke to you, my intent wasn't to upset you or anything, and if I
No,
did, I
no.
apologize to you.
No, I do the same thing, so I will, you know, I just thought this was excellent, and I don't know if this is a public document that I could, are they kept with the poll books, are they gonna be separate, are you gonna put it with the minutes? What did you do with this?
This is the first time we've had them, and I
Right.
really love them. I know, a copy is going to the clerk of signatures that are missing. That was suggested now that they're trying this. I have them. The ones we reran, they know we reran them. I don't need to send that.
If that's public information, I just wanna review it,
Right.
because it's just something I only see, this is blank, it's not filled out. So today is like, you
Can't
have
you
them,
have
and
a
once
copy?
it's released, that's public
sorry, what?
information.
Can she have a copy of that document?
Oh, those?
Yeah.
So
Sure.
you
You gave me
think,
one earlier, so. This is blank one.
So Klein, sure.
Blank. She's not gonna do it one that you filled out.
She wants a blank one.
Oh, she wants a blank one.
You
Yeah,
can't
there was a
give her
whole
those.
stack somewhere.
No, there.
No, I'm just looking at the, yeah, this will go to the clerks.
Hey Erin, it looks like 22 months. There's a federal retention.
Okay.
Looks like the Board of State Canvassers are the only,
But I thought I
there's an
heard
AG opinion from 2010. It empowers the Board of State Canvassers as the official source to grant access to ballots.
I thought the first day that I was here, 22 months, and then they destroy
Because
them.
there's a federal,
So I
there's
wanted,
a federal office on that ballot, so it looks like 22 months.
but that's the date for the destroying of them. I was informed on the first
That's-
day, unless I misunderstood.
That's the date that they need to be preserved under security.
Until.
Until.
They don't need to be destroyed then, but they can
Okay,
be. They're released at that point.
all right.
We have to-
22 months, so you need to get.
Otherwise, I can, is it the AG that I inquire?
Looks like Board of State canvassers. so
Board of
Bureau
State,
Elections,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, some of this stuff would go to them. You might defer you to them at Court of Council, about the exact answer she gets.
Just look home.
Huh?
Just looking to see. Mostly look home.
So, thank
That's
you
pretty much
again,
what we did.
everyone. Thank you again. This was absolutely fascinating about the election process.
Oh, okay, good. Okay,
We have to sign stuff.
all right, so, yeah, hey, Mike, oh, you're right there. I thought you walked away. Yeah, let's bring that, okay.
Is that the actual opinion right there that you were
No,
referring
this is
to?
just, no, it's not the opinion. I can give you a copy of this. It's got the opinion number and the date.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Sign away.
Okay, limber up. These are the certificates of determination that they will sign
We'll start here.
and are forwarded to the county clerk.
what's the number of those certificates?
What do you mean?
How many did you have to sign?
It's for every race,
Every precinct,
Oh.
every race?
No.
except for, I believe it's for, there's certain ones it's not, the federal,
these are, yeah, these are for,
Immigration?
it's like the, proposals, yeah, it's not everything.
It's not everything,
No, it's townships,
it's townships.
things, they're all different, so.
It is.
Look at 'em.
Okay.
Down at the bottom, that goes on the back.
Oh,
side.
yeah, here's the form in the booklet, by the way. It is in our training booklet.
And
You
that
have the
training
form is in
booklet,
the
do I have to
booklet.
FOIA that, or
No,
No.
that's online.
That's on
It's
the.
online?
the
This is
SOS
online,
website.
that's, I had directed
Name of
you.
that
It's,
It's the manual for Board of County Canvassers.
Yeah, that's on the state's webpage.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
And you made a reference to what page?
Oh, where this is at? We actually, it is on page 254, I don't know, page 354. Does it say that? I have no idea.
They number these things so strangely.
Oh,
Okay, so
chapter
it's
9.
chapter 9. Oh, no, it's in the appendix.
it's in the
It's in the
appendix.
appendix.
Sorry,
Appendix in the back, page 2 of the appendix.
it is actually in there.
Yeah, in the back, they have all those forms.
Okay, oh, you have my good pen, okay. I'm sorry, copies of this. And that goes with that, okay. I'm getting a mess going on here. All right. Oops.
I don't know how we get a notice from what, we were elected to.
Oh, I'm sure. Janice, you missed one.
The convention's tomorrow night, Thursday.
Tomorrow.
Nice. You guys have food at yours?
Huh?
You have food at yours? It's at a hall.
There's food.
Food?
No,
No food?
no.
No food.
Talk to Linda about that.
No food.
Would be nice.
No, it wouldn't.
No food. If you give people food, they will always come.
No, we're not doing that.
But that would cost quite a bit.
What's that?
It would cost a bit,
Right.
yeah.
We have breakfast, we have donuts, and bagels, and coffee.
Yes, I did.
So Roger, where were these kept? Are you keeping them in the boxes or are you gonna keep them separate, the checklist?
Where are all of those forms?
What forms?
These checklist forms?
Some are out there right now.
Some are still in the boxes that are open because people still have to come and sign.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
How do you wanna, I don't know how to do that.
I don't know,
We've had
gather
on
them
the
once.
commercial.
Some of them need to stay in the boxes just because
Yeah,
a
I
few people still
understand.
need to come in and sign where signatures were missing. But eventually we'll gather all of those, so.
Well, if you think tomorrow's a better day to come see them,
I'm sorry,
do you think tomorrow's a better day to view those? Or do you wanna just send the
probably
copies?
toward the end of the week. Why don't I just copy them?
Mail.
Yeah, I'll just mail them, probably next week sometime.
Okay,
Does that
that's
work?
good, that works.
Okay. Yeah, I think, let's say Wednesday, yeah, probably by the end of the week, we would have everything we need, so. Okay.
Good.
No. Ballots.
Yeah, we do.
Not 22 funds.
That's why I said you gotta get a picture from the state. That's what.
Oh, yeah, right here. Balloon funds. Okay. No, they just don't have it already. That's all. Under this statute. So I have to go visit them. Board of State Canvassers and State Officials to grant access to ballots.
You can call the state number.
Oh. Right. Like it's just like. No, but I can look at them. It's conducted under our statute constraints.
The state might turn it around, so you could be able to.
Oh, I thought that the state, the purpose of was to preserve the ballots as evidence in the event of a civil trial.
So who has custody? Would it stay in the clerk's office in Macomb County?
I guess they, that's the thing.
I don't know, so I told me they're open here.
Actually, we all love it. Actually, we're all past. I just
Did
told
you
you
come in second? You came in second
Yeah.
in your primary?
Yeah.
Alright, well, you're gonna get your $100 back. Karen, you're gonna get your $100 back.
Yay.
The nominee and the runner-up in each party's primaries, they filed the fee, or refunded the fee.
Yay. Thank you for mentioning that. I feel
We're
like
trying to
I
get
won the
the
lotto
bill
now.
passed to make those non-refundable. Actually, the bill did go in. They're non-refundable for all of the nonpartisan offices, for the school boards, and for the library boards. They're
That's
not
weird.
non-refundable, but actually, somebody brought that idea to us, like, why didn't, I said, well, the legislators get their $100 back, so good luck, you know.
Yeah,
And,
well, and the first
pass that
time
one.
that I did it, I wasn't expecting it back, and then I
I know
got
a
the
lot
check
of
in the
people
mail,
are
I was like,
surprised
woohoo!
by that. Yeah, I know, a lot are surprised by that, so.
Yeah. And then, I was looking at the opinion here, and it was saying that, I can, even though there's a federal person on the ballot, I can look at it, but there needs to be, to maintain the purity of the chain of custody.
Right,
So where are the ballots, after the recount's done, where are the ballots stored?
they're at each local unit,
And that's where they're gonna be permanently stored
That's where they're
until,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, so, yeah, each of these warning has their ballots, each community has their own, so those Fraser ballots.
okay, so it doesn't come to a central location here? Alright, so then it would have to,
We'll call the state,
okay,
see what they say.
so would you have to, cause I'm gonna go through this process and request it, cause if they say, if you maintain the purity of the chain of custody, that I can look at them, earlier than 22 months. Probably after your recount, of course, but.
You get certified.
Well, again, you're
And
gonna have to, from what I read there, the Board of State Canvassers have the sole authority to
Correct,
release
correct.
those, and then
But,
if that's granted, you would have to deal with Fraser. Fraser's gonna have to handle those, as I understand. They're
Well,
gonna have to sit and babysit you while you look at those ballots, yeah.
so, yeah, and that sounds,
And it's
but
to
you're,
keep
the
everything
county's not in,
intact.
correct.
No, we
I'm
don't.
I'm just wondering about the process.
Yeah, I mean, they're-
Are you
they're not in
involved
our
in it at
custody.
all? No?
I don't know
Okay,
why we
so it's
would.
just
We don't
between
have
the
the
state
ballots.
and the actual community.
Yeah.
Alright,
Right.
A lot of stuff doesn't actually fall in, it falls in other people's stuff.
yeah, I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
And they have control of their own balance, so.
Yeah, they maintain the
It's got nothing to do
security of
with
those
us.
ballots.
Yeah.
Correct.
Huh?
Yep.
And this opinion says that, yeah, state board,
I wanna figure it.
they can grant it.
That's what the state did.
That'll pay for the, that can't be. That cancels that out.
But now you can say that to us.
I did, I used to, it's okay.
I had to spray my throat because my throat is so bad from calling them. It's like strained.
Michelle, I'm sorry for calling you Melissa, I just.
That's okay. It's all right. I've been called worse.
And thank you for the brownies yesterday,
Mm.
that was good.
You're welcome. We need a little sustenance to get through this sometimes. Chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate.
Rick usually supplies us with chocolate, but I didn't see any coming out, so.
Yeah, he did.
Finally you did
He
yesterday.
usually supplies me with Laffy Taffies.
Mm.
Did they make you laugh?
Mm.
Sometimes, sometimes not.
I don't know, it's closer.
They pull my fillings out.